Alright, what's good everybody? It's Volume here, bringing you my WPF Delta Draft Analysis required upload, and we're doing it. And you might have noticed in my Attack PR video that I just released, I'm not in Attack anymore, I'm in Delta, right? I'm in a Wi-Fi league. We've moved on to perhaps better things and for better YouTube content that we will try to pursue. And we're here bringing you a simple, tasteful draft analysis video in which I use a document, a prep sheet that I have access to, and I put in my team. And we'll go through all the beauty that comes with a draft. Because when you draft a Pokemon, when you're drafting in Pokemon, like, that's like half the thing when you play battle. Like when you play this thing, you draft and then you battle. Like those are the two things I care about. The team building, we get there, whatever. But I'm assuming you have some baseline understanding what draft is, and it's like we draft a list of Pokemon. You can see there's 12 slots here. We can only do 11 maximum in this WPF Delta, and we also have only 110 points to spend, which is rather cheap, and we're playing in Paldea, which means we're not doing Nat Dex shenanigans. Personally, I like Nat Dex, but we'll take the L. And there's also Tera rules, because terrestrialization, very busted feature. They decided to nerf it here, kind of, by making it primarily a low-tier thing. You can only Pokemon with 10 points or lower can terrestrialize, and you only have 15 points to spend on up to 3 captains. And the way the captains work are, you pick 3 types, but one of those types that they can terrestrialize into has to be one of their stabs, or their only stab. So that's what we're working with, and that's the context. You can even check out the fan doc, which I'll drop in my description, and you can kind of see where we're at. But for now, let's start off the draft. I was 11th pick. I don't really care too much about where I get thrown in. Honestly, if I was thrown at the beginning of the draft, I kind of feel like I have the pressure to like pick the best thing, and it might not actually be the best thing, or I don't know what it is, or like the perceptions everyone has are wrong. So I find that's a lot of pressure. So I don't really mind being in the lower middle of the draft. I mean, preferably I'd be at the wheel, or like a couple, like, you know, like 4th pick, I guess. I don't know. I mean, I would take a wheel. I like 1st pick anyway, though, not because I get the 1st pick, but because I get wheel. I like 16th pick because I get wheel. We don't really get that. We get like 5 picks until wheel on the short half. So, I mean, it's like, it's 10 picks till we pick, and then it's 10 picks. That doesn't make sense. And then it's 10 picks till we pick again, and then it's 20 picks on the way back. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So it's like, if I did the math right, I'm doing it on the fly. So we'll go with that. Anyway, so I was placed in the position in this draft at 11th. The two of the 20-point mons available on the document were still up, just because people didn't really want to pay the price, because, you know, if you have 110 points, what are you going to do? You want to make sure that everything goes your way. And there's things like Chien-Pao and Dragapult. Everyone loves those mons, but people really didn't like Blaziken or Darkrai. And so that is what I was left choosing between when it came up to my pick. Honestly, I don't really find it worth it to plan out what you're going to pick for your first mon, unless maybe you like have a huge plan for like the thing. I don't know. I'm not really a big planner. Like I plan short term. So I've been told the legends of Darkrai. I've been told the legends of Blaziken. And in the end, I decided Blaziken was Kenough. It's Kenough, and that's what we went with. So that's really, like, I honestly, I mean, it didn't really matter what I picked. I could have made a great draft either way. It's what I wanted to use, and I felt like, I don't know, Darkrai felt like a little underwhelming, and like maybe it needs more stuff to work, even though it's faster. I kind of just wanted to use Blaziken. Maybe I'm just justifying it to myself that, like, man, Darkrai's a little, like, I don't know if it's that great without a Tera, but Blaziken is not usually allowed in my experience in draft. It might be more allowed in future Gen 9 things, but I decided that I wanted to take it, and it's, you know, you can see its stats here. It's not the biggest highlight. We highlight speed here because that's the most important stat, in my opinion. Like, how fast something is, speed tiering. It's got its own little thing in draft when you're, like, going through. But we took Blaziken. That eats away our budget, but we get a nice, like, 120 base attack and 80 base speed, but we get speed boost, and that is crucial to making sure Blaziken is effective. It also isn't popping up any moves here. I guess it doesn't get any of those moves. This is wrong, by the way. The doc is not up to date. I don't know why it's doing this. Maybe this is not the most up-to-date doc, so I apologize if the moves are wrong, but it gets knockoff, it gets U-turn, so it can pivot, and it gets SD, so it can sweep, which is his main thing, and also gets Flare Blitz in close combat for its stabs, so 120 power moves. Granted, they have drawbacks, and it gets like okay coverage. It gets Poison Jet for fairies, and really it gets what it needs to do. That's why it's 20 points. I'm a little surprised it dropped to me, but I can understand that there might be other things that people wanted to try out besides Blaziken. That is 20 points in a 110 point draft. Now, Blaziken was Kenough for me, but I need to ask, what was Kenough for Blaziken? What does Ken want for this team? And I was going back and forth between a couple picks with Smot. He's my boy. He's helped me draft, and also my squad of people that I play as in a home league with. So, shout out to Lycan Huskies. But I was debating between Meowscarada for it's a strong grass type. Blaziken doesn't really like grounds. Greninja again doesn't like grounds. Bundle doesn't like grounds. I mean, that's what Ken doesn't want. These guys love grounds. Eat them for breakfast. I kind of wanted to try Meowscarada out, but I ultimately didn't go for it. Whether it was taken before me or not, I'm not sure. That's not important. What is important is that we got Greninja, and that's what I ended up going with. I like Greninja. It's a nice mon that, I haven't actually used that much because, I felt like it wasn't very good, but people had drafted it when it was, Torrent. But now it gets Battle Bond and Protean, and it's got, two really good abilities, and, Blaziken really appreciates it. But Battle Bond is going to be very strong as a sweeping potential, and Protean just boosts your damage so much. It's kind of hard to not love it. And so we are adding Greninja to the squad at 122 base speed, which is what I need, because also I find it best to get speed in the early stages of the draft. But, you never know really what's going to happen. So, yeah, people like to grab speed first, and lower tier Pokemon generally are slower. Some of them are fast, but they might not be as good as a Greninja. So this is what we got, and it helps us break the ground types. So now I've really got an offensive duo. A fantastic duo, I would add. I think Gren and Ken, that's a real squad. Ken and Gren, we got synergy now, and we're still building a team that is perfect for Ken, or at least we're going to aim for that. But I really know what to go for my third mon. There's kind of a lot of options again. My leading choices were Iron Treads, a Clefable, maybe a Screamtail. I used it in MLP. You might have seen me. I didn't do that well with it, but maybe I have learned the utility sets, the value of said utility sets you can run with it. And even a Latias, which could be cool, but it's got some weird defensive weaknesses. So it was kind of a toss what we were going to do. And I started to realize berries are cheap on the board. By cheap I mean there's not a lot of them. They're limited. So I was let's get the Clefairy, the Clefable. It's the fairy type themselves. It's Clefable. And they are probably the best fairy type, or the most stereotypical fairy type in Draft League. They've been the best for a while. Maybe you could argue there's some megas, a Mega Gardevoir is better or something in older generations. But this is, in my opinion, almost always the best fairy on the board. And maybe at least top 5 fairy. And there's not that many fairies to go around, so you take what you can get. And I certainly took Clefable, which was only, I believe, 14 points. So that was a really nice steal for us. And now you can see our breakdown here. So we got some decent speed tiering building up here. We want to get some 110 mon, 100, get a 70 mon in there, hopefully a 90, roughly that. That's generally the goal. Keep it on the 10s, because most Pokemon, I think, are on the 10s, but I don't know. It depends. You kind of just take what you can get, because there's a lot of things to fill when you get this, and I'm just happy we were able to fill the Clefable on the roll. Also, important note about Greninja, it gets Sludge Wave, by the way, which is another reason why I picked it up. It's good coverage, and that can really help just tear apart teams. And I got Clefable, best fairy, can wish, fantastic, love it. But what is next on the table for the Ken Gren Clef squad? I will admit I was debating Treads heavily as my third pick, but Smot talked me out of it, anti-Treads player, and I think once I realized fairies were off the board for the most part, I needed to get a prime one when I could. So let us grab our next Mon, I don't know. I started considering Tera users at this point because I wanted to like, I think short term, but I wanted to be like, what if it makes back to me what I grab? But I don't think I was gonna grab in the next couple rounds anyway because like I still got plenty of points to run. I was really considering a Kira, which was 17 points, which kind of blow my budget up, and it doesn't really, like the typing wasn't super great, but it was a Kira with DD and stuff, and like I was debating it heavily. But I ultimately did not go for that, and I kind of ended up in a weird position where I didn't really know what to go for, and I ended up scoring with Gliscor, and that's what we got. And now we're kind of building towards like a bulky core here because I mean that's just what we're going for. I didn't really intend this, but Gliscor is like a premier ground type, and most importantly, it's toxic, and we're playing in Paldea decks, meaning that toxic is a limited resource in this gen. Not everything gets toxic. So having a Toxic Mon, and I'm probably going to end up picking up a Poison later, Grounded Poison, staple of a draft. You usually want one of those, and that will also probably get Toxic. So just having multiple Toxic users really helps you out in these like stalling matches, or just in general when you need to break down someone else's beef. And I don't really have beef with that many people, but not in Draft League at least. Not in real life either. I'm not really like, you know, beef's not important. Now we have Ken, Gren, Klefskor. Fantastic combination of 4 mons. And I'm thinking ahead in my draft, what do I want next? Always, as you can see, I'm only thinking like 1 mon ahead. Like I didn't really know I was in my 3rd and 4th mons. I just kind of grabbed what I felt was the best option for me. And I mean, I am wary of Gliscor's lack of roost, but I do have a Wish Clefable to run if I need to. Plus, Gliscor heals like so much with Poison Heal. So it's just a nice utility mon. You can see some of the moves are popping up here, what they get. And these are just general utility moves that you kind of want on your team. But I know Blaziken gets knockoff and it's not listed there, so some things are amiss. Oh well. Alright. So I was now thinking like I kind of want my steel type. I really like having a steel type because it's one of the best. It resists a ton of types. That's why you want it. And I don't know, like I was considering a Registeel, but like it didn't hit quite right. Like it was because I'm thinking that deck's Registeel, and then I look at like Paldea Registeel, and it wasn't it. It wasn't what I wanted. And then I got suggested by Smod again, Bronzong, and I was like, we're Zong, and we're ringing that Zong gong, but I realized that not everybody, the way the rotation works, it's the 4th pick. I just made my 4th pick. No one on the back half like was gonna draft. So this is my 5th pick. I mean, no one in the back half was gonna draft a steel type. So it's moving towards the 16th pick. I'm 11th, and it's just coming back to me again from like the 20 picks I had to wait. So I looked at everyone and I was like, I'm pretty sure they're not going to take a Bronzong, they're not going to take a Steel, so what can I get instead? And I'm noticing that like, if I go Bronzong and I have these 4 mons, I got no removal. Where's my Defogger? Where's my Spinner? I need to get that settled. And I kind of went through a couple iterations of what I wanted to go for, between Decidueye, Tentacruel. I wasn't really sure what I was going to do, or there wasn't really great hazard removal left, so I don't know. I wouldn't want to necessarily double up on water with Tentacruel, but like I used Decidueye in the WPF Attack Season 14, like last season. I didn't have the greatest time with it. Like it was okay, but I didn't think it was fantastic. So it was kind of a tough choice for me, but honestly, the moves that Tentacruel gets are so cool. Like that was just a bad pun, but like it gets so many things, and it can like SD, it has like decent physical coverage, it gets knockoff, it gets flip turn, it's got toxic, it gets rapid spin. That's all I wanted in a mon right now, and such we went for Tentacruel 5th, because like I knew that I could save my steel type, or so I thought. And so I thought correctly because we rang the Bronzong gong following this Tentacruel pick, and we were really feasting. But that kind of made us like draft a whole bunch of bulk in a row. You know, we got a bulky guy. So I'm not really going with the Mon Super Do, but like Bronzong, Iron Defense, can run Body Press. That's a cool set. But it also gets Gyro Ball. It gets Screens, it gets Trick Room, and it's and it gets rocked. So and also the key ability, levitate, keeps it off the ground. Tentacruel is on the ground, doesn't want to eat earthquakes. Blaziken doesn't want to eat earthquakes. We need things that are off the ground if we're not having a strong grass type on the team. So I really needed to, like, you know, Gliscor and Zong, like, they're off the ground. But like I said, I kind of needed a grass type, and I ended up, for my last 3 months, I started planning pretty heavily. And yes, I said last 3 months, you can draft 11 mons, but I only went with 9. And the reason being is, like, you look at my points, it's 27 points. I have to draft, like even if I draft, like, 3 9-pointers, that's like 3, like, mid Pokemon and that's my team. That's it. So, like, I can't really, like, ball out and get something good. Is it really worth it for me to diversify and get, like, oh, this is a weak mob that can kind of do this? I kind of want to get the stronger mons that I could. So, and also, I really wanted to consider my Tera users, because I waited longer by delaying the Bronzong and going for Tentacruel for hazards and stuff. I didn't choose something that I really wanted to be my Tera user. Like, yes, I can make Tentacruel a Tera user. I can do the same for Bronzong, but I don't really want to. So I'm coming out to, like, all these things. I have, like, a decent set of hazards, and I came up to, like, multiple plans what I want to do. Like, I was like, maybe I'll get Ogerpon, but ended up going, like, regular Ogerpon. Grass can hold an item, but, like, can't Tera because it's too many points. And then I was like, maybe I'll do Ogerpon Cornerstone, but it was the same price as Ogerpon, and I already thought Ogerpon was overpriced. This is like 15 points, and I didn't want to do it. And then I didn't know what I was going to pair with it. And then there was, like, a Kyurem pick, because, like, Kyurem still hadn't gone. I was like, could be a juicy Kyurem pick here, but it does break my entire bank. And then, like, I need a Tera user, so I guess I'll go, like, Sui Electrode to have, like, a really fast electric type and grass type mon that could really abuse the Tera. But I'd only have, like, it would be my only Tera user probably, and I'd have 1 point left. And so I wasn't really sure I wanted to do that. So the plan that I ended up going with was, you know, we'll go one at a time. But I was talking about grass types, talking about hazards. I'm talking about a spin blocker. Let's go for Sinistcha. And that's what we wanted for our Tera user. I got high reviews from Smot on this Pokemon, so that kind of convinced me. And I also wanted to try it out, having used it a little bit myself. It seems like it will be a very good piece to the team. And now we have, like, 19 points left. We're kind of, the reason why we went Ogerpon, by the way, not only is it a grass type, we've got Sinistcha, that fills that role, but it fills the 110 speed role, which aren't really many mons left in the draft that can fill that role for me. But I'm a big Lycanroc fan. I said Lycan Huskies earlier. You know, we got Lycanroc Dust on the squad, hitting the 110 speed mark, it's a offensive rock type. Those things hurt. People usually lack rock resists. And this thing basically has stab close combat with tough claws. It's insane. This rock type move is a cell rock for close to tough claws. You're hoping you're hitting some stone edges. It's got its flaws, don't get me wrong. But I love this mon, and I'm glad to be using it on the team, and it fills a nice speed roll. And it's not like one of those mon where you, like, throw it, it's 110 speed, you're like, wow, that's nice. But then you realize, like, you're never going to bring it, or it's, like, not going to, like, it's not really a threat. Like, Lycanroc is almost always a threat to a team. I think this thing can always be a threat. If it gets an SD up, it can probably win any match. The problem is getting the SD up, but you have to consider that if you have stuff that it can abuse, and it has that priority as Cellrock, plus it just hits hard if it's banned, and it's a fast band user. So it's got a lot of things going for it. I like it. I like it a lot. I'd have been doing a lot more than Sinistcha, because I feel like Sinistcha is just a, you know, he's got heat proof. I saw it in VGC, which is why I was like, kind of wanted to try it. And it's got a nice calm mindset that it can run, and just like ghost hit, it can spin block, ghost stab is nice, and it's got like okay coverage to make up for whatever it wants. And you know, strength stab's a cool move. So I like Sinistcha. None of his moves show up here, so I don't know. Also, I'm like almost done with this draft analysis, but I'm terrible at move pools, by the way. So like I forget what things have unless I'm like specifically prepping for it, or I forget what my own mons have. So I apologize, I missed things, whatever. But let's round out this draft. We need another Terramon. We got 7 points left, and I thought, why not pick up Vikavolt? My Lycan Husky boys suggested it to me, and they're like, this thing makes a good Tera user. It's 7 points, and you get webs. It'll be great. Now, important note, webs are not the greatest for my team. Like, I don't, like, not like webs, but I don't have slow breakers. My offensive mons, Lycanroc, Greninja, and Blaziken, are all, like, fast. Like, they don't need the webs. Maybe Blaziken appreciates the webs already. If webs are on the field, Blaziken comes in and doesn't have a speed boost, could be nice. Other than that, like, the slower and bulkier mons on my team, not really feeling it. But Vikavolt also is like a really good special attacker, which I felt like I wanted on my team. Like, you look at this special attack, it's got 145 special attack. It's insane, and it kind of carries my stat block here. Now, my stats aren't like, I didn't draft like the highest base stat Pokemon, but I think they all fill the roles pretty well. And I got like, when you look at this type chart, at the end of the day, you might have been watching it grow and like become better and better as I add new mons, hopefully. Like, ghost types are my only true weakness. I have some neutralness that I got to worry about, but I'm not really weak. And I can, I got like a nice balanced squad, and this is like a weird squad. These are mons that, like, for the most part, I haven't used. Like, I used Clefable before. I've used Greninja technically before. It's probably been a while. I think I even used Tentacle before. I've used Gliscor. I've used Bronzong. I've used Lycanroc Dusk. I've used Vikavolt. I've used all these mons, but I don't really, they're not like high priority mons of mine. But honestly, I don't really think I fall into the pattern of like, I always draft the same thing. I mean, I guess I drafted Regieleki twice, but that, I got shafted on that one. Whatever. It got nerfed. Couldn't use it as well. I mean, I could use it, but it was just worse. I don't know if it mattered that much, but it stings a little bit. Nonetheless, I got a bulky team. I like to run offensive teams. At least in my mind, I don't know if this is true about me, but like, I like to run hyper offense, so like I'm setting up, just throwing mons at each other. But I got this really bulky team, like, because I drafted Clefable, Gliscor, Tentacruel, Bronzong, like Clef, Score, Cruel, Zong, all together with a Sinistcha. I don't know, that's what it's got, and a Volt. Like, these things are bulky, and they are, I mean, Vikavolt lost Roost, but, I mean, I don't know if Vikavolt's like, Vikavolt's like not super bulky, but he's in there, for sure. And I think, like, those 5 mons, I'm going to discount Vikavolt. Like, that's a bulky squad right there, and I might just have, like, one of the bulkiest defensive cores, which is, like, I got a Clefable supporting all these mons that don't really have recovery, and, like, I got a nice Ice-type switch-ins for my Gliscor, and Tentacruel and Bronzong, and, you know, I got a nice, I don't have a Dragon-type, but Fairy and Steel, really good, just in general. Because, like, you can eat the poison-type attacks, and Bronzong doesn't care about, like Bronzong eats poison and steel for the Clefable, and Clefable exists, like, for just, I don't know, it's to me, it's a subtle beauty to the team, but I am not the most succinct at describing what a team is, because I feel like it's kind of hard to do, and you want to capitalize on what you can get, like, that's not the right word, but like, you want to like make sure you get the whole vibe of the team, but like, it can depend like widely on the team, and I think this is like, you can see what my threats are, so it's like fairly straightforward, kind of balanced team, but like, can you match them? Can you match a Speed Boost Blaziken? Can you match a Greninja? Can you deal with the support that it has around it? This Lycanroc Dusk could be a problem for you. Vikavolt might break through your mon that like is crucial for you defending off one of my other mons, you know. And I got this hard to beat beefy middle, so I don't know. I like my team. Like, it is, like I said, lack of power for me is like always a concern. Always like not feeling the best when I don't have a lot of strong hitters, but maybe I don't need them this time. Maybe I can find my way, because maybe this team is Kenough. The Kengren, Clef, Score, Cruel, Zong, Cha, Dusk, Volt team, 1 syllables all the way, is going to carry me to perhaps my first championship ever. I've never won, by the way. Straight up never won. But I've been playing for a while. So, and what can you do? This is where we're searching for that win, and I hope that you can join me on this journey as I go through 9 weeks of battling Wi-Fi for the first time ever. So off-putting. I'm not ready to like deal with the 60-second timer. Like, I'm a slow guy, so we'll see what we can do. But I'm trusting this squad to carry your Arizona Dactyls to the playoffs and hopefully to the first championship of the team. Anyway, that is Volume signing out. Peace.